You're listening to the Outside the Jersey podcast with Alex Plates. On the inaugural episode of Outside the Jersey, we have Celine Mukura, who is the Division I volleyball player at Long Island University. Originally from Rwanda, she came to the United States in high school to pursue her academic career, which quickly turned into a flourishing young volleyball career. We dive deep into her background and we learn more about what she's like outside the Jersey. Thank you so much, guys, for listening today. Today is the first episode of Outside of the Jersey. Today, I'm joined by Celine Mukura. She is a Division I volleyball player at Long Island University. And I'm happy to have her on my show as my first guest. Celine, can you tell me a bit about yourself?
My name's Celine. I am 19 years old. I am from Kigali, Rwanda, which is in East Africa. And I play volleyball here at LIU, and I major in AI.
So tell me, what do you do in your free time?
Well, in the little free time that I do get to have, I really love watching mystery and crime shows. I really love that. I'm really into Sherlock Holmes or Quantico, Law and Order, things like that. I also really like reading. Growing up, I was a very big bookworm, so I like to do that from time to time. Yeah.
What is your favorite book right now?
Right now, I'm reading. I wasn't reading. I mean, I'm trying to read. There's one book called Where the Lost Girls Go. It's like a thriller book.
Okay.
It's very interesting. I'm only like 2 chapters in, but it's really good.
Just to delve into your background a little bit, I know you went to you went to high school in Utah, out of all places in America,
Yeah.
and you were a really good volleyball player and a basketball player,
hmm
playing varsity all 3 seasons when you were there. So, what made you choose to volleyball over basketball?
Well, the honest answer is I was getting better offers for volleyball than I was for basketball, and just to make sure I was safe academically, I went for volleyball. But it wasn't because either my love for the game. It was just because it was a more safer option, and also because the community that I made for my with my high school volleyball team and the coaches. Because really, I feel like coaches can really make or break you, and I really think they really did a good job, just making us really love the game, have fun, and just develop like that bonding that you get in sports. Yeah.
You got your scholarship to LIU,
Yes.
um, and now you're here studying in America. Why did you choose artificial intelligence as your major out of all things?
So, like many college students, when I came, I did not know what I wanted to do, and it's cliche, but then in an African, growing up in an African home, you have to choose like a smart decision. You can't just your decision really impacts for example, I'm the second oldest out of 6 siblings. So really have to think about the future, for support, like supporting your other siblings. And as AI it was a new major added to LIU, and with how like the world is really focusing on AI, like it's having such a big impact in the world right now, and it definitely will have an impact in the future. I feel like it was a wise decision to take, and it really put me out of my position spot, because I think what you want to do is never stay in your comfort. You want to always push yourself to do to see your limits, because I feel like I've learned more about myself and what I can do by choosing AI.
That's really cool. I mean, have you seen the movie like I, Robot with Will Smith and stuff like that?
Yes, I have.
So does that kind of scare you at all or no?
No. I'll be the one. I'll be Will Smith, but like be behind the computer, like really saving the world or something.
Okay, got it. You talked about like making the smart choice, like in terms of college and your career,
Mhm.
coming from an African household. So you tell me, man, like how was that transition from living in Rwanda to the United States? Because
It
it must be
was
like a big kind of shift.
Yes. So I came when I was 13 years old, and my I came with my older sister who was 15 years old, and we came together. Like we didn't come with our parents or anything. We just came with a guardian. She was she was coming to see her daughter who was also going to that school, and it was such a big shock being away from family, first of all, because we weren't those kids that were always going out. Were always like homebodies, like we just never went out. And then the one time we go out, we go to a different country across the sea. Like it was such a scary experience. I feel like it was the most serious thing I've done in my life. But because the food was different, the people were different. Like I went to an international school when I was back in Rwanda, so I spoke English well, but my accent was still heavy, so people didn't really understand me. So I really needed to practice that, and yeah, so it was just a lot of changes. Like the weather was different, seeing snow for the first time. Yeah, it was just very different. But then as time went by, we spent like 4 years there before going back home. So we really developed community, made connections, just adjusted.
And now you live in arguably the biggest city in the world, New York
Yeah,
City.
completely different.
That's insane. I can't honestly. I can't even imagine that kind of transition. Like I grew up on Long Island, so like I've always like been close to the city, and like it's no big deal to me. But like
Yeah.
going into like even going upstate, and like you've traveled a lot in volleyball, so like
Mhm.
going upstate and seeing how different people live and like how rural everything is outside of
Yeah.
like New York City and stuff like that. It's just always a crazy experience to me.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Growing up and transitioning from Rwanda to the United States, you're a tall individual. You're 6'5", and you're usually the tallest person in the room, whichever you walk into. So, how have you ever experienced any challenges with that growing up here and in back home in Rwanda?
Yes, not major challenges, I would say, but I have experienced some challenges. Growing up, of course, I had challenges like with finding clothes, and I still do that now. Like my arms too long for the sleeves. Most of the pants look like capris on me. Like that's one of the struggles. But also when I was growing up, there wasn't sports wasn't as big. It's not as big in Rwanda as it is here. So I never even considered myself to be an athlete. Like that was never an idea in my mind growing up until I went to Utah. So coming to Utah was just like a shock because like everyone was saying like you have to play this sport. There's this hype about it. Like it just it really becomes your identity, honestly, because you start to take pride in that. Start to take pride in your height because you have a way to use it. Yeah. So
So would you say that now that you've like been accustomed to it and everything like that, would you say like now it's like kind of like a something you wear with honor, like you're proud being 6'5", and
yes, so proud and so grateful. It's like one of those things that you grow up thinking that you just don't like about yourself, and then it becomes like the thing that you love the most. Yeah.
that's beautiful. Honestly, that's beautiful to hear. Um, and growing up with those type of like small little challenges, like you said, like obviously, well, not small, but like growing up with those kind of challenges,
Mhm.
um, who would you say has been the biggest influence in your life, and how did they impact you?
The person that has impacted me in my life is my mom because I think the way that she raised me, the lessons that she taught me, the examples that she showed me, like it really shaped me into the person I am today. And something that I've really started to see as I keep growing up, of course, is just how character is very important. It's very important with like the opportunities you get, the people, the connections you make. And of course, there's a lot of factors that come into someone's character, but I think it all comes down to like how you were raised. And I think that she did a really good job. So,
That's really cool,
yeah.
really cool. I always love when family's like a big part of somebody's life, and I
Yeah.
definitely feel that just talking with you here. Um, back transitioning back to like the sport of volleyball that you play. I have a statistic here, according to the NCAA, actually.
Mhm.
Only 1.2% of female athletes play Division One volleyball.
That's crazy.
And it is a crazy statistic, and you're being that 1%.
Oh,
And I'm sure you saw what happened with Nebraska playing outdoors in the stadium, and
yes,
that
that was amazing.
90,000 plus sold out.
Hmm.
And so, with women's sports booming right now, how does it make you feel to be able to compete at the highest level and being part of that 1%?
Well, I feel very grateful to be a part of it. I feel so grateful to be a part of this, like to be a part of like it coming up and everything. But I'm also very excited because I don't think volleyball, especially with the stats, 1.2%, I don't think it's as appreciated or put on a pedestal like other sports like basketball or football. And for it to be like getting the recognition it deserves, it's just so exciting for the future and just like what it holds. So very grateful and humble and excited. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I know with all the hype and everything about women's sports blowing up right now, there is always that kind of negative connotation when it comes to it too. And so what do you say to all those negative people on social media who try to take jabs at women's sports?
Well, I feel like the best answer would be through our actions because as like women keep on doing like amazing things, like outstanding things, I feel like that's the best answer to silence them.
And
Like,
and really quickly, like when you see those comments on social media, how does that make you like feel inside and stuff like that? Do you feel like they're just ignorant people just talking out of nonsense?
yes, just it just makes me feel mad, but then I'm just like, it's okay. Like, just have to keep working hard and just doing what we do. Like, we can't let them be a distraction, you know?
Yeah, and the way I see it honestly is that, like, let's say like I want to have children, and let's say one of my daughters compete at that high level. I don't want to be one of those people who hear that every day about my daughter and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
and so like it's like, if you want to support like your sons in doing sports, I would love to support my daughter in the same way,
exactly.
because they could go even further than my son, honestly. So that's the way I see it, and I hope that that's how we transition. Hopefully within the next couple of years, especially with all these deals happening and all these social media presences happening. For
Hmm.
sure, I appreciate that sentiment. Um, and so back to how you are currently today. What is it like to juggle volleyball, schoolwork, and your social life as a Division 1 athlete?
It can be very overwhelming and draining most of the time. Because like you have early practices, you have classes that sometimes go until 8:30 p.m. and then you have extra work that you want to do because like you're gonna do extra reps for volleyball or you want to do extra work for classes and that just really doesn't leave room for a social life, honestly. But it's one of those sacrifices that you have to make when you commit to playing sports in college. Just have there's no way around it. And yeah, but then I think it's very beneficial in the long run because it really forces you to develop skills like um, like time management, like like resilience, or prioritizing like things, some certain things over others, which I think are like very necessary to survive in the real world. So it's there's pros and there's cons in that.
I can't even imagine the type of time you have to spend on homework studying artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Honestly,
It can be a little hard, but
I can't I can't imagine. And I don't envy you. I'll be honest. um, but now, I mean, now that we got to know you a little bit better, and your thoughts on some little issues as well for women's sports, I would love to transition into getting to some fun icebreaker questions, just some like quick rapid fire ones,
okay.
just to end off the show, really. Uh, so, question number one, I would like to say, what is your favorite topping on a pizza?
Anything meat, honestly. Sausage, bacon. I like pineapple. I know some people don't like that, but I'm okay with it.
You like ham and pineapple on a pizza?
Yeah,
I can't
I'm a
co-sign that
pizza
for
fan.
sure.
It's good. I don't know. I like it.
What is your most used emoji on your phone right now?
I'd have to check. I think it's either the emoji with the stars, or
Starry eyes.
yeah, or it's the crying emoji.
Okay.
Tough. Yeah, or a heart. It's the heart also.
Who is your childhood famous crush? If you had a celebrity crush.
His crush. Um, I think because growing up, we watched a lot of like Bollywood movies, or even like Turkish shows. But I cannot remember the name of the guy that played. There was this one guy who played in a Bollywood movie, but he was my crush. He was my
Okay.
celeb crush.
Okay.
It was mostly the guys from those kind of shows. Yeah.
If you were a dog breed, what kind of dog would you be?
Okay. I'm not really growing. So back home, we don't do like pets. So I don't even know different types of dogs. Like if the dog we have at home it's a watchdog. Is it a watchdog? Is that what they call it? But like I don't even know the breed of the dog we have. So I'm not a very big dog person. But then if I was to have one, I would have those big dogs. Those really big furry dogs. Like I would have one of those. Maybe
I think I
is it a
know.
golden retriever?
They're on the medium side, yeah. But like a furry, like a big furry dog, there's a Japanese
Yeah.
dog called an Akita Inu.
Actually,
They look like a bear.
I don't know if I can show if I can it's this
Oh, that's so cute.
do you know what type of dog that is?
I seen there's one near my house.
I don't know.
I have to pull it up, but I think it's called a Samoan. I'll send it to you later, honestly. But I know I've seen it before, and I know what type of dog it is.
I really love these. They just look so beautiful. Yeah.
Well, what are you gonna name that dog when you get it?
I don't know.
No, not
I
yet.
don't know. Let me first get the dog.
Okay,
Let me first get the
fair enough. What is your favorite Disney movie when you were growing up?
I really liked Anastasia, because it was just a very interesting movie.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. Um, I got two more questions for you. Number one, what would your go-to karaoke song be?
Um, I think right now it would be let me pull up this. It's called "Long as I Got King Jesus" and it's by Vicky Winans. So I really think I could bomb that song
Okay, got it.
karaoke.
Keep it in the
Yeah.
house of God on this Sunday afternoon.
Yes.
That's dope. That's dope. And last question I have for you is, what is the greatest piece of advice you have ever been given?
Okay. The greatest piece of advice I've ever. So this also ties in with me right now. Right now, this moment, or not this moment, where I am in life right now. So it would be that God is still religious, it's still faith based. God has plans to prosper me and not to harm me. And the reason why I think this has had a big impact on my life, especially recently, is because as an athlete, you tend to tie your identity with a sport, and you can get feelings of self like unworthiness, like rejection, doubt, depression. Just like can get really tough, and like this really just helps me remember like what's important in the end, and it also just helps me know that God has good plans for me, like in the end, like even if like things go bad, in the end it's all gonna work out. Like he's yeah. So I think like that's the best advice.
He has the last word, Celine. He has the last word
He
for.
has the last word.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, Celine, that's all I have for you today. All the questions I got for you today. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast and being my first guest ever. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy Sunday and studying artificial intelligence. Where can the people find you on social media?
on Instagram. My name is KZ_Celine CELINE.
And I'll make sure to put that up on the screen when I edit everything for sure. But thank you so much, Celine, and I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much for listening to Outside the Jersey. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Outside the Jersey. Don't forget to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss an episode. Until next time.